There is a power that does not speak loudly, a strength that does not need to be announced, yet it transforms the lives of those around it. This is the silent power of a loyal husband. In a world where many voices rise to demand recognition, the quiet presence of loyalty becomes a rare treasure. It is not a force that seeks applause, but a steady flame that keeps the home warm, the heart secure, and the bond unshakable. Loyalty is the foundation upon which trust is built, and trust is the invisible thread that holds every relationship together. When we speak of loyalty, we do not speak of something that is only shown in moments of difficulty or crisis. It is a daily practice, a way of living that communicates reliability without the need for constant reassurance. A loyal husband understands that trust is not given freely and permanently. It is earned, nurtured, and maintained over time. Each action, no matter how small, is either strengthening or weakening this invisible bond. When a man chooses consistency, when his words align with his actions, when he does what he says he will do, even when no one is watching, he creates a sense of safety that cannot be measured but can always be felt. Trust is not built in grand promises, but in the daily evidence of dependability. A wife finds peace when she knows that her husband's loyalty is not conditional, not swayed by moods, temptations, or circumstances. His loyalty is steady like a rock in the middle of moving waters. The storms of life may rage, challenges may come, and pressures from the outside world may test the strength of their bond, but loyalty gives assurance that no matter what comes, the foundation will not collapse. This is not just about physical presence, but emotional and spiritual presence. A loyal husband is present in heart, not distracted, not half-given, but fully invested in the life he shares with his partner. When trust exists, love breathes freely. It does not suffocate under doubt, jealousy, or fear. Without loyalty, relationships quickly crumble into suspicion and insecurity. But where loyalty lives, even silence feels safe, because silence is not emptiness, it is assurance. A wife does not need constant validation when loyalty has already spoken through years of consistency. She does not have to look over her shoulder or wonder where she stands. The silent loyalty of her husband speaks louder than words, louder than gifts, louder than declarations. It whispers daily, "You are safe here, you are chosen, you are enough." It is easy to speak of love in the beginning when emotions are strong and everything feels effortless. But true loyalty reveals itself in the long seasons, when life becomes ordinary, when responsibilities increase, when stress or weariness try to create distance. In those moments, a loyal husband demonstrates that his commitment is not dependent on convenience. He chooses to remain true even when it requires patience, sacrifice, or endurance. This is where the foundation of trust becomes unshakable, because it is tested and proven. Loyalty is not about perfection. Every human being has flaws, makes mistakes, and falls short. But a loyal husband does not allow mistakes to weaken his integrity. Instead, he confronts them with honesty, learns from them, and returns to the path of trust with even greater commitment. In this way, his loyalty becomes a living promise, not bound by circumstances, but by character. And character is what sustains trust when everything else seems uncertain. When a husband lives in loyalty, his family walks in peace, his wife rests in security, his children grow in confidence, and his home becomes a place of safety in a restless world. That silent power does not need to be announced, because everyone who lives within its shelter already feels it. Trust built on loyalty becomes invisible armor for the relationship, protecting it from the doubts, distractions, and distractions that often break weaker foundations. This is why loyalty is not just a virtue, but the very soil in which love, respect, and peace are able to grow. A husband's loyalty is often revealed not through the loudness of his words, but through the quietness of his actions. Silent support carries a depth of meaning that words alone cannot reach. Many times, life's challenges do not require grand speeches or dramatic reassurances. They require presence, a steady hand, and a heart that chooses to remain. A loyal husband understands that encouragement is not always expressed in long conversations or repeated affirmations. Instead, it can be found in the way he stands beside his wife, in the way he shows up day after day, and in the way his presence becomes a silent anchor in moments of uncertainty. Silence, when filled with love, becomes a powerful voice, and support, when offered through action, speaks louder than any declaration. Silent support is often overlooked because it does not seek attention. It is the quiet willingness to share burdens without being asked, the readiness to step in when needed without seeking recognition. When a husband notices the unspoken struggles of his partner and chooses to lighten her load without demanding gratitude, he is offering a form of support that penetrates deeper than words. Such gestures do not fade. They remain etched in the heart because they speak the language of love without sound. This is where loyalty shows its truest face, not in what is promised, but in what is practiced. A loyal husband's silent support gives strength to his wife's dreams. He does not overshadow her aspirations with his own, nor does he compete for recognition. Instead, he quietly becomes the foundation upon which her growth stands. Whether it is through managing responsibilities so she can pursue her goals, or simply offering a reassuring presence when self-doubt creeps in, his loyalty is demonstrated in the way he supports her journey without demanding the spotlight. His silence becomes her strength because it assures her that she is not walking alone. In this way, silent support nourishes confidence and builds resilience. There is a beauty in knowing that someone stands with you even when they do not speak. A loyal husband's silence is not emptiness. It is filled with faith in his partner's abilities, filled with respect for her individuality, and filled with commitment to her happiness. He does not need to constantly remind her of his devotion because it is evident in the way he acts. The comfort of silent support allows a woman to breathe freely, to embrace her challenges without fear, and to take risks knowing she has someone who will be there, quietly steady, no matter the outcome. Life often places couples in situations where words fail. During times of grief, pain, or overwhelming stress, no speech can heal the heart. In those moments, the power of silent support becomes most evident. A husband who can sit in silence with his wife, who can hold her hand without trying to fix everything, who can simply be present in her pain, demonstrates a loyalty that no words can match. Silence in these moments becomes sacred. It says, "You do not have to go through this alone. I am here." That presence, unspoken yet unshakable, becomes the greatest source of strength. Silent support also prevents unnecessary conflicts because it teaches restraint and patience. A loyal husband does not feel the need to dominate every conversation or prove himself right in every situation. His silence can be a shield protecting the relationship from unnecessary words that might wound. He understands that love does not need to be defended through argument, but preserved through patience. This form of support requires humility, and humility is one of the highest expressions of loyalty. Even in ordinary life, silent support is a gift. It is found in the way a husband shares household responsibilities without complaint, in the way he notices when his wife is tired and chooses to act rather than speak, in the way he stands with her in public and protects her dignity without needing recognition. These moments, though often unseen by the outside world, create a sanctuary of love within the relationship. Over time, they accumulate into a reservoir of trust and gratitude. A wife may not remember every word ever spoken, but she will never forget the feeling of being consistently supported, especially when no one else could see the weight she was carrying. The silent support of a loyal husband is like the roots of a great tree. They are hidden from sight, but they hold everything steady. The tree may grow tall, its branches may spread wide, and the wind may shake it fiercely, but without the roots it would not stand. In the same way, silent support does not seek attention from the world, but it sustains the relationship from within. It makes love resilient, it makes trust unshakable, and it gives both partners the strength to face life's storms together. Loyalty is not about possession, and true devotion does not imprison the one we love. A loyal husband understands that his role is not to control, but to protect, not to restrict, but to create space where freedom and trust can coexist. Loyalty is powerful precisely because it creates security without suffocation. Many relationships break under the weight of suspicion, jealousy, and control. But when a man chooses loyalty, he builds a shield around his partner, not a cage. This shield is invisible yet felt deeply. It is the assurance that his heart remains constant, that his integrity cannot be shaken, and that his respect for her individuality is just as strong as his love for her presence. There is a significant difference between protection and control. Control is rooted in fear and insecurity. It demands submission and restricts growth, making the relationship heavy and burdensome. But protection is rooted in love. It is silent, steady, and selfless. A loyal husband protects not because he doubts his partner's strengths, but because he respects her worth. He recognizes that his role is not to dominate her path, but to guard the space in which she can flourish freely. In this way, loyalty becomes the unseen armor that shields the relationship from external harm while allowing internal freedom to blossom. A loyal man does not need to check every step his partner takes or question every choice she makes. His loyalty allows him to trust, and in that trust, both partners are free. He understands that love thrives in openness, not in surveillance. His partner can move through the world with confidence because she knows his loyalty is not conditional on constant proof. This trust is liberating. It empowers both to grow individually without losing connection. A loyal husband does not fear his partner's independence because his devotion is not threatened by her strength. Instead, he embraces it, knowing that her growth contributes to the strength of their bond. Protection without control is also reflected in the way a loyal husband handles conflict. He does not use his strength to overpower, his words to manipulate, or his silence to punish. Instead, he uses his loyalty as a safeguard, ensuring that even in disagreements, his partner's dignity remains intact. Protection here means shielding her heart from unnecessary harm, even in the heat of emotion. It is the choice to respond with patience instead of anger, with clarity instead of accusation. His loyalty acts as a guide, preventing him from saying or doing what could break the trust they have built together. In the face of external challenges, a loyal husband's protection becomes a quiet strength. He stands between his partner and whatever seeks to harm her, not by limiting her steps, but by reinforcing her confidence. When life tests her, he becomes her safe place. When the world doubts her, his loyalty becomes her reminder that she is supported. This form of protection is powerful because it is not controlling. It does not diminish her spirit, but strengthens it. It does not bind her wings, but guards the sky in which she flies. This balance between loyalty and freedom creates harmony in the relationship. His wife feels both secure and respected, shielded but never restricted. In this environment, love grows naturally because it is not forced, and trust deepens because it is not demanded. A loyal husband understands that real protection is not about closing doors, but about holding them open, ensuring that his partner can walk through them without fear. The beauty of this is that the more freedom loyalty allows, the stronger the bond becomes. She remains not because she must, but because she chooses to. This choice is the essence of love, remaining not out of obligation or fear, but out of trust and devotion. A loyal husband knows that his partner's love is a gift, not a possession, and he treasures it by providing protection without control. His silent power lies in the way he safeguards the relationship from doubt while keeping space for individuality and growth. In his loyalty, his wife finds both the freedom to be herself and the security of knowing she is never alone. And this balance created by loyalty is what transforms ordinary love into something enduring and unbreakable. The true test of loyalty often comes not in times of comfort, but in the quiet battles a man fights within himself. Discipline over temptation is the mark of real strength, because the world offers countless distractions that can pull the heart and mind away from what truly matters. A loyal husband is not measured by how loudly he proclaims his faithfulness, but by the silent choices he makes when no one is watching. Every temptation resisted is an unseen victory, and every moment of self-control strengthens the foundation of his relationship. It is in these unseen battles that the depth of his loyalty is revealed, for loyalty is not a one-time promise, but a continuous discipline. Temptation comes in many forms. Sometimes it appears as opportunities for instant pleasure, other times as the desire for recognition, power, or escape from responsibility. The loyal man understands that each temptation is a test not only of his character but also of his love. He knows that giving in to fleeting desires may bring temporary satisfaction, but at the cost of long-term peace and trust. So he chooses differently. He chooses the path that may be harder in the moment but is stronger in its outcome. This discipline does not make his life narrower. It makes it deeper. It gives meaning to his love and stability to his commitment. Discipline in loyalty is not about suppressing desire, but about mastering it. It is about channeling energy and attention toward what enriches rather than what destroys. A loyal husband knows that temptation will always exist, but he also knows that he is not powerless against it. His strength lies in the clarity of his values and the consistency of his actions. He has decided, long before temptation arrives, where his heart belongs and what he will protect. That decision acts as a compass, guiding him even when distractions seem appealing. His loyalty is therefore not reactive but proactive. It is a discipline he has chosen as part of who he is. This kind of strength is quiet. It does not seek applause, for no one else may ever see the sacrifices made in silence. Yet these unseen choices shape the destiny of his marriage and his family. By practicing discipline, he prevents cracks from forming in the trust that has been built. He preserves the purity of his love, not by accident but by intention. His wife may never know all the temptations he turned away from, but she feels the stability of his loyalty in the peace of their relationship. That peace is the fruit of his self-control, and it cannot be replaced by anything the world offers. Discipline over temptation also requires humility. A loyal man does not assume he is immune to weakness. Instead, he acknowledges his vulnerabilities and guards against them with wisdom. He understands his limits avoids situations that might compromise him, and surrounds himself with principles that keep him strong. This humility is not weakness. It is foresight. It shows that he values his commitment enough to protect it before it is tested. In this way, discipline is not only about resisting in the moment, but about creating a life that strengthens resistance before temptation even arrives. There is also a deeper aspect to this discipline. It is an act of love. Every temptation resisted is not only a personal victory, but a gift to his partner. It is a way of saying, I choose you again and again and again. This choice is not spoken in words, but lived in actions. Over time, it builds a trust so strong that it becomes unshakable. His wife feels the safety of knowing his loyalty is not fragile, not easily swayed, but rooted in disciplined love. She can rest in the assurance that his heart is not divided, because he has chosen through countless unseen decisions to keep it whole. Ultimately, discipline over temptation shapes not only the relationship but also the man himself. It refines his character, strengthens his will, and deepens his understanding of love. He becomes a man who is not led by impulses but by values, not by fleeting desires but by enduring commitments. In mastering temptation, he becomes free, not free to do whatever he wishes, but free from the chains of regret, guilt, and broken trust. This freedom allows him to live fully in his love, fully in his loyalty, and fully in the silent power that defines him as a husband. Loyalty does not always reveal itself in moments of grandeur. It often lives quietly in the ordinary rhythms of life, in the small gestures that may seem insignificant to outsiders, but hold great weight within the relationship. A loyal husband understands that love is not sustained by occasional fireworks, but by the steady flame of daily devotion. When the world glorifies big gestures and dramatic expressions of affection, loyalty finds its strength in constancy, the kind of constancy that is woven into everyday actions, decisions, and sacrifices that together build a life of unshakable love. In the simplicity of daily life, loyalty is tested and proven. A husband who chooses to remain patient when tensions rise, who listens instead of dismissing, who notices his partner's needs even when they are not spoken aloud, demonstrates a form of loyalty that no gift or dramatic promise can replace. These acts may never be celebrated on social platforms or praised by others, but within the relationship they form the invisible threads of trust and connection. The beauty of loyalty in the ordinary is that it requires no stage, no spotlight, no applause. It thrives quietly, faithfully in the background of everyday living. A loyal husband's devotion is often seen in the way he handles responsibilities, not out of obligation but out of care. He may wake up early to provide for his family, carry the burdens of daily work without complaint, or take small actions to ease his partner's load. Each of these acts, though mundane, carries the weight of loyalty because they are choices made consistently. Over time, these choices accumulate into something profound. His partner feels not only loved but cherished, not only supported but safe. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when loyalty fills it with meaning. There is also loyalty in the way a husband chooses his words. Not every conversation requires dramatic declarations of love. Sometimes it is the kindness in tone, the patience in listening, or the encouragement offered in moments of doubt that make all the difference. Words spoken with care may not be remembered in detail, but the feeling they create lingers. A wife may forget specific phrases, but she will never forget the sense of security that comes from knowing her husband consistently chooses to speak with respect and understanding. This quiet, loyal communication strengthens love in ways that cannot be measured but can always be felt. Love, nourished in the ordinary, also means showing up. not only during celebrations or crises, but in the small, unnoticed spaces of life. A loyal husband shows up at the dinner table during conversations about dreams, in moments of fatigue, or in the laughter of shared memories. Presence, in its simplest form, is a profound act of loyalty. It says, I am here not because I have to be, but because I choose to be. When presence is consistent, it becomes a foundation that supports every other aspect of the relationship. Loyalty in small things also requires resilience. Life is not free of stress, misunderstandings, or disappointments. In fact, the ordinary days often carry their own unique challenges: work stress, financial concerns, household demands, and the inevitable differences of opinion. Yet, it is in these ordinary trials that loyalty shines the brightest. A loyal husband does not allow frustration to erode his respect, nor does he let fatigue weaken his commitment. Instead, he chooses patience again and again, understanding that love is not tested in ease but in perseverance. His partner sees his loyalty not because he declares it, but because he continues to embody it even when circumstances tempt otherwise. Children, too, notice this kind of loyalty in the ordinary. They observe how their father treats their mother, how he handles daily life, and how he responds to challenges. These ordinary acts of loyalty become lessons in love, integrity, and strength. Without words, he teaches that real commitment is not found in dramatic displays, but in consistent devotion. The legacy of this loyalty extends far beyond the present moment, influencing how future generations will view love, trust, and relationships. When loyalty becomes a part of daily life, the relationship grows not only stronger but richer. The couple learns to find beauty in the simplest things: a shared meal, a walk in the evening, or a conversation after a long day. These ordinary moments, infused with loyalty, become treasures that outlast fleeting passions. They create a bond that does not depend on excitement but on depth, not on novelty but on endurance. This is the true nourishment of love, and it is found not in what is extraordinary, but in what is faithfully ordinary. The silent power of loyalty extends far beyond the immediate relationship between husband and wife. Its influence ripples through time, shaping the hearts and minds of those who watch and learn, especially children. A loyal husband may not always realize it, but his quiet devotion becomes a living example for the generations that follow. The way he loves, the way he remains constant, and the way he honors his commitments create lessons more powerful than any words he could ever speak. Children may not always understand the details of loyalty in the moment, but they feel its presence, and in time they carry it forward in their own lives. When a man remains loyal, his family experiences security on a deep level. Children grow up with a sense of stability that becomes the foundation of their character. They witness how their father treats their mother, with respect, with consistency, and with care, and it imprints on their understanding of relationships. Daughters learn what to expect from a man who truly values them, while sons learn what it means to carry themselves with integrity. The loyalty of a husband becomes a silent teacher, guiding their future choices, shaping their values, and influencing how they will love and commit in their own relationships. Even beyond the family, loyalty inspires friends, relatives, and community members. Notice when a man remains steadfast, not because he seeks recognition, but because true loyalty cannot be hidden. It radiates quietly in the way he prioritizes his family, in the way he honors his vows, in the way he stands by his partner even when life brings challenges. Others are reminded that love can be stable, that faithfulness is possible, and that loyalty is not outdated but timeless. In this way, his silent example becomes a source of strength not only for his own household, but for anyone who observes his life. A loyal husband's influence does not end with his lifetime. Long after he is gone, the memory of his constancy remains. His children may carry his lessons into their marriages. His grandchildren may hear stories of his devotion, and his community may remember him as a man of integrity. This legacy is not built through loud declarations or fleeting displays of affection, but through years of quiet, faithful choices that accumulate into a life well lived. Generations to come may find courage and direction in the example he set, because loyalty leaves a mark that time cannot erase. The power of loyalty also teaches resilience. When children see their father remain faithful through hardship, whether financial struggles, health challenges, or personal trials, they learn that commitment is not dependent on circumstances. They learn that true strength is not found in abandoning difficulties, but in facing them with steadfast love. This silent teaching equips them with the courage to face their own struggles, knowing that endurance and loyalty can overcome even the heaviest burdens. His life becomes a guidebook, written not in words but in actions, teaching that love is not fragile but resilient when rooted in devotion. There is also a sacredness to this silent power. A loyal husband communicates to his family that they are worth his time, worth his sacrifice, and worth his faithfulness. This unspoken message fills the home with peace. His wife walks with confidence, his children grow with assurance, and the family as a whole stands stronger because of his quiet consistency. It is not only what he does in extraordinary moments, but how he lives day by day that plants seeds of faith, respect, and love in the hearts of those around him. Those seeds grow into a forest of values that can shelter generations to come. The world often celebrates external success, wealth, or achievements, but the silent power of a loyal husband is a different kind of greatness. It does not shout, it does not seek attention, yet it transforms lives in ways that no achievement ever could. The influence of his loyalty is not limited to the span of his life, but stretches forward, shaping futures and inspiring hearts that he may never even meet. This is the unseen power of loyalty. It does not end with the man who lives it. It continues through every life that has been touched by it. Loyalty is not noise, and it is not performance. It is the quiet strength that holds everything together, often unnoticed yet deeply felt. We have reflected on how loyalty builds trust, how silent support speaks louder than words, how protection can exist without control, how discipline over temptation reveals true strength, how devotion shines brightest in the ordinary, and how loyalty inspires generations. Together, these truths reveal that the silent power of a loyal husband is one of the greatest forces a family can ever know. Such a man does not seek applause or recognition, yet his presence creates safety, his choices build peace, and his devotion becomes a legacy. His loyalty allows love to breathe freely, trust to remain unshaken, and future generations to carry forward an example of integrity. In his silence there is security, in his constancy there is love, and in his loyalty there is a power that outlasts time. The silent power of a loyal husband is not just a gift to his partner, but to everyone whose life is touched by his steadiness. It is a quiet reminder that the greatest strengths are not always shouted but lived. It is proof that true love is not fragile or fleeting, but strong enough to endure, grow, and inspire long after words have faded.